Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here at my next Airspeed Reads Naruto video. This one's going to be for volume 54 of the manga, which is called Peace Viaduct. And yeah, we have another 10 chapters in this volume. We cover 505 to 514, Nine Tails Chakra Opened, Guy vs. Kisame, A False Existence, Shinobi Death Style, Peace Viaduct, Forbidden Jutsu Shock, We Shall Return, The Truth About Zetsu, Kabuto vs. Tsuchikage, and Kabuto's Plan. So, interesting volume. I definitely wouldn't say it's one of the best. I think we've had a run of really good volumes in the last couple of times I've done this. This one, while still being good, I just felt wasn't as good as what's kind of just come before. Again, I think it's one of those ones where it is primarily a volume of like 3 fights. There are a couple of really interesting reveals and a couple of things to talk about, but in general they aren't the best fights in the series. And we're still at that point where we're just about starting the war, just setting up for that, and so we're still kind of waiting for that to happen. But anyway, we open up and the main thing is just at the beginning, Naruto revealing to everyone that he has indeed succeeded, and we see what his Nine Tails kind of form looks like now, and the effect that it seems to have on wood style jutsu, and the sensory powers it seems to have given Naruto, and that he's immediately able to sense that Kisame is in Samehada, as we've had revealed to us for like a couple of volumes now, but B obviously hasn't been able to sense him. Now he is sensed, and what happens here is Naruto tries to fight him and gets in a pretty powerful attack initially, but in attacking him, he went so fast and was so kind of not in control of how fast he now is, he kind of got his leg trapped in a wall. So Kisame escapes, and basically what happens is he walks out of the waterfall kind of cave and is encountered by Guy. And so we get the final confrontation between Guy and Kisame, the third time they fight, and again, Guy completely doesn't remember Kisame, but Kisame remembers Guy. So there's a frustration there as the fight kind of progresses, and you know, Kisame gets kind of power from Samehada, he kind of gets Samehada back and kind of basically merges with the sword and becomes this kind of half shark sword, half shark guy kind of character. And again, with the setup that he is effectively as powerful in a way, has as much chakra as a tailed beast, this is a very, very, very powerful fight that we have set up here. So Guy immediately goes into the 6th gate, the Gate of Joy, and opens it up and uses an attack called Asakujaku, which, you know, holds off Kisame temporarily, but he is forced to go into the 7th gate, the second last gate, 7th gate of Shock open. And basically this is the finishing blow that we get here. It's Water Style Super Shark Bomb versus Hirudora. And effectively, Kisame miscalculates here. He thinks that Guy, in opening up the 7th gate, is using a super powerful chakra enhanced attack. That he's firing basically a chakra bomb at him. And so he basically sets it up so that his jutsu absorbs chakra. And so the more power Guy fires at him, the more powerful he will become, and he'll win the fight. The issue, though, is that Guy didn't fire chakra at him. It was purely a super powerful punch. And it just immediately burst through Kisame's jutsu and basically ends the fight against Kisame. Kisame isn't killed, he's just badly injured, and it's basically, in essence, taking him out of the fight. Kisame can still move to a degree, but the fight is over with this Hirudora attack. Just prior to that, though, he does say something once he kind of witnesses Guy open the 7th gate. He says, "You really are a beast. A shinobi this skilled in taijutsu is rare, although I have known 2 others." As far as I'm aware, I'm not sure who these characters he's referring to are. Now, he seems to meet Madara at some point, but it's not the real Madara, so like, is he talking about Toby here? I don't think he is. Does he know about Guy's father? Perhaps that's the character he's talking about, because obviously Guy's father killed some of the ninja swordsmen. That was, we'll get to that later on in the series, but that's an that's realistically one of them, but I don't know who the other character is. Like, is it one of the Raikage? Because other than that, like, there's not too many just, like, crazy powerful taijutsu users who Kisame would have encountered. Is he talking about one of the, like the Hyuga clan kind of leaders or something like that, who are skilled in a different form of taijutsu, or what? Is this a character we haven't met yet? Because, again, there's not too many, like, taijutsu specialists in the series. Like, Guy, the Raikages to a degree, are the only ones who come to mind. So if you know who the two characters Kisame is referring to here, definitely let me know in the comments below. But yeah, we get the defeat of Kisame here at the hands of Guy, fairly easy in the end, as he's kind of they bring him back on land, kind of hold him up, and basically they're about to do the mind transmission jutsu on him to discover the secrets of the past, and he basically stops himself. We get a little bit of Kisame backstory with Itachi, him in the Mist Village, and basically just it's this dynamic of, like, him always considering himself somewhat of a monster. Like, he is a shark, so he kind of acts like that, but Itachi always pointing out the fact that, you know, like, no, I'm a human. As much as we can do all these bad things, we are still human. We are not animals. And in the end, I suppose, Kisame accepting that, like, he was indeed a decent human being in the end, as he basically kills himself to save any information going into enemy hands, and, you know, as a last-ditch effort, manages to get one of his sharks to steal the scroll with the information about where Naruto and Killer Bee are, and send it off. So he has succeeded even though he's been killed, and it's a pretty notable moment. We immediately transition into the Konan versus Toby Madara fight, and this is actually, I think, the highlight of the volume. Getting to see Konan fight properly for the first time, and the reveals that come out here, and that obviously this is Konan fighting for Nagato's goal, fighting for Naruto in the hope that he can kind of bring balance to the shinobi world. And the reveal that comes out here is that obviously Toby's here to get the information from Konan as to where Nagato's body is, so he can get the Rinnegan back. So he revealed, shockingly, that he was the one, even though Yahiko is the one who created the Akatsuki, that to Konan, I was the one who first, planted the seed of the idea of the Akatsuki in Yahiko. I was also the one who gave Nagato the Rinnegan, and I'm just here to take it back. So this idea that he's been the mastermind the entire time, you think you have this advantage wearing the Akatsuki, uniform because, you think your friend invented it, but it was actually my initial idea that kind of caused him to properly make it. And the fight is basically immediately into, like, the big attacks, because it's obviously her defending, her knowing how powerful he is, having been part of the Akatsuki for so long, and she basically goes for, like, this suicide move, which he defends but gets injured in doing by, using his kind of kamui, teleportation kind of jutsu thing to soak away most of the attacks that are happening, as we get the idea of, like, why the volume is called Viaduct of Peace, and that Yahiko is always saying that Nagato is the one who's eventually going to, become the Peace Viaduct, the bridge to end all wars, and his role is basically just to be a pillar that supports that viaduct. And Konan in this fight is being another pillar now that Naruto is going to be the one who's going to be the Peace Viaduct to kind of bring an end to the wars. But yeah, we see Toby gets pretty badly injured after the initial fight, and admits he's underestimating her here in this fight. Highlights how powerful she is, despite, like, I suppose not having any, like, ocular power or anything like that, not appearing to come from any, like, of the big bloodlines. Just her complete mastery over this kind of paper folding jutsu, and so on. And she really admits here, when she reveals her, like, true power, like, how much she's been planning for this attack. That basically, they're fighting over a river, like an ocean, basically. And she reveals that the ocean is basically made up of paper bombs, and she has complete control over all of them. She attaches them to him, and he's basically in this position where if he merges out at the wrong time, comes back in at the wrong time, he's going to be killed. And there's so many of them around, it's so widespreading, and she knows he can't stay, like, phase through things for that long, and he won't have enough time to just, retreat into the dimensional space himself, because he can put other stuff into the dimensional space easily, but he himself takes a little bit more time. And so, knowing all of these facts about him, she sets up this 60 billion paper bomb attack that will explode continuously for a full 10 minutes. So this is complete overkill here, that Toby will eventually run out of power and phase back in after 5 minutes. He's going to be killed here, like everything has been calculated here, so really, really powerful attack. And what happens here is she thinks she's got the victory, but then after the 10 minutes, Toby appears behind her, and we see that the mask is cracked and that he actually does have a second Sharingan. So that's a very interesting kind of reveal that we haven't seen that before. Like, why has he always hidden that other one and only kept one of the eyes out? But what happens here is that he reveals that the reason he's not dead is because of the Izanagi. Now, initially there's this kind of slightly contradictory piece of information here of like, what does he say here? An ocular jutsu that only those that possess the Uchiha and Senju powers can perform. And like later on they reveal that no, like a bunch of the Uchiha used it. That's the whole reason the Izanami came into existence, was to counter the fact that all of these Uchiha were using Izanagi to survive battles. But what the reveal that's actually here is that the Izanagi is at its most powerful when you have, both sides of the power. In that normal Uchiha can use Izanagi to survive being killed like once. It's a one-time thing. They basically just alter reality so that their one death didn't happen. It lasts just an instant to reverse their death. The Izanagi with the Senju DNA is basically a time limit thing, like we saw in the Danzo fight, where each eye lasts about a minute, and for that minute you can survive basically being killed, entirely. And that, I think that's the distinction they're making here, that when you have Senju DNA, it actually lasts a while and basically wins you any fight, because you can basically survive any attack for a minute and do whatever you kind of absolutely need to do. So, what he's done here, I suppose, is that given that he is Madara, he's a much more powerful character than Danzo, is that he basically reveals that the combination of him being able to survive the attack for 5 minutes just with his own powers, and then we assume the rest of it is just that he can actually use the Izanagi for about 5 minutes. You can sort of see where kind of why he survives this attack, even though it's 10 minutes long. So, bit of an explanation, but it works in the end. But anyway, she goes for a final attack, but he does manage to take her out, and it's this tragic moment as like all of Jiraiya's kind of first group of 3 main students have been killed at this point. Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan here are all killed at this point, and they use the symbolism of the kind of the little block things back in the kind of little house that they had together, the tiles that they flip back and forth, and we just cut to this pretty kind of tragic kind of moment of just, now they're all dead, they're all kind of laying next to each other, but all of the tiles are now black because they're gone. So, kind of tragic moment with the death of Konan, but we move on. We see that Toby gets a new mask that now has 2 eye holes, and he's preparing for war basically. The reveals that we get next are basically just that Toby has used the power, Madara has used the power of the Gedo statue with basically a kind of clone in a way of the first Hashirama Senju to basically make an army of 100,000 kind of Zetsu soldiers. And he's brought Kabuto in to enhance them so that they're actually more powerful. And what we get in the last section of this volume is basically that the Tsuchikage, the fence-sitter, the guy with particle style, he is going out to basically, I suppose, further inspect basically what's going on with Naruto. They know that information has gotten out about where Naruto and Killer Bee are, and he's going out there to kind of back everyone up, given that basically the enemy now knows the location of the tailed beasts. So he heads out there with Kurotsuchi and so on. And what we get here is the basic start of the fight of, okay, Kabuto's reanimated shinobi are starting to fight now. So who fights the Tsuchikage? It's Deidara, of course, because we know that to a degree, obviously Deidara is from the Hidden Stone Village, and Kurotsuchi at least seems to know him and kind of calls him brother in a way, and he seems to have some issues with the Tsuchikage. So Kabuto also reveals that his jutsu is different than Orochimaru's in that his power doesn't hold them back as such. It's basically, he's perfected the reanimation jutsu to the point where he has control over them in that they will fight for him, but they have the freedom to use their techniques as they wish. Whereas I think Orochimaru, like when he fought the third Hokage and resurrected the other Hokages, the idea I think was that they were only resurrected with the ability to fight using the powers that like Orochimaru knew that they had. It wasn't necessarily them using their powers to their full abilities. That's why that fight actually was able to kind of happen and not just be an instant defeat for the third Hokage. But yeah, the fight that we get here isn't particularly amazing. It's basically just it's basically just a distraction as they're all trying to stop Naruto from figuring out that a war is going on, and in the kind of scuffle, Yamato gets captured and taken away, and the reveal is that Kabuto needs Yamato as like a living wood style user who has proper Senju DNA in him from the first Hokage, and they're going to use him to enhance the power of the Zetsu army that was just revealed. And Kabuto retreats before anyone finds out about Naruto, and it's just this idea of like, will Yamato be able to hold out, or what's going on here? So this is the war really just about to kick off. The villains are just finalizing their kind of battle strategies and perfecting their army before the battle, and our good guys' sides are obviously preparing as well. And in the next couple of volumes, we're going to properly start the war and get into things. So, a fine volume. The Konan and Madara fight is absolutely the best section of it. Though I do like the Guy Kisame stuff that was well done with the seventh gate of shock. But the final section I think is just a little bit like, okay, we get teased some particle style stuff. Deidara's back, but the fight itself isn't particularly amazing. It's just to get Yamato out of the picture and kind of create some drama ahead of the war about to begin. So volume 54, solid, but not as good as some of the previous volumes we've just had. But anyway, we'll move on to volume 55 next time out. But yeah, that's been the video for this week. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on volume 54 and my review. But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.